Nick Kristoff says he's walking away from his New York Times position, a job he loved, for what he sees as a calling to serve, a chance to lead his home state of Oregon at a critical time.
Those other apples seem to be doing okay down there.
Yeah, they don't need any more water, that's for sure.
No, they sure don't.
Nick Kristoff grew up on this farm in Yamhill, where his mother Jane still lives. Inside the old barn on a blustery October afternoon, he announced he made his decision. So what have you decided?
I've decided I am going to run for governor of Oregon.
With that, Kristoff, a two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, made it official. He's leaving his 37-year career as a New York Times columnist to join the race to be the Democratic nominee for Oregon governor. A decision he said was tough, but feels is a calling.
It was a wonderful perch, but when your friends and people you deeply care about are suffering and you're attending funeral after funeral, then that perch and writing columns that are read in the White House doesn't mean as much as knowing that you're going to be going to another funeral.
Kristoff wrote about those childhood friends in Yamhill in the book Tightrope he co-wrote with his wife Cheryl Wudunn. A quarter of the kids on his school bus have died from drugs, alcohol, or suicide. He sees those tragedies as a reflection of the deep problems Oregon faces.
I don't think anybody can look around Portland or elsewhere and think this is a model of good governance.
If elected, Kristoff said his top 3 priorities would be addressing homelessness and affordable housing, improving the state's education system, and creating good jobs. He pointed to opportunities in climate technology.
Oregon has a fighting chance to create those good jobs, and whoever becomes that climate hub is going to be the Silicon Valley for the next 50 years in terms of the job opportunities it creates.
As for the type of governor he'd like to be, he looks to the late Governor Tom McCall for inspiration. McCall was also a journalist, an investigative reporter at KGW before getting into politics. A 2-term Republican, McCall was known for bringing people together.
I think that as a liberal from a conservative rural area, maybe I have some natural advantage in trying to build bridges and try to bring people together, and I believe it's time to try.
Kristoff has faced questions about whether he meets eligibility requirements, that he's lived in the state of Oregon for 3 years before the election. He voted in New York in 2020. But Kristoff insists he's an Oregonian.
But I think that, what's more important than checking the boxes here and there is that my soul is here. My bones are here. My life revolves around this farm, around people here.
Kristoff has no political experience, but he believes he has what it takes to lead the state.
I've come to the conclusion that at the end of the day, we can't solve these problems as a state if we continue to send the same kind of people to Salem to try to address problems that they help foster in many cases.
This is the first open Oregon governor's race in 2 decades. Kate Brown has reached her term limit and can't run again. Kristoff will join a Democratic primary field that already includes some veteran Oregon politicians. Oregon House Speaker Tina Kotek and State Treasurer Tobias Reed are both running for the office, as are at least a half-dozen other Democrats. On the Republican side, at least 12 candidates have announced they're running. Expect the campaigns to really heat up in the new year ahead of the primaries in May. The general election is Tuesday, November 8th, 2022.